Hello and welcome to the Goldenrod Podcast, bringing you some of the latest and greatest Pokemon news and a few laughs along the way. I'm Ben, and as always, I'm joined by fellow Pokemon enthusiast Conor. Before we begin, you can jump around the podcast by using the timestamps in the description below. Conor, are you as excited as I am this week to record?
Not really. I mean, the trailer was a little bit garbage. No, I'm joking. I'm so so excited. I gave it away a little bit there.
I can already imagine people already ready to start hammering on their keyboard going, I can't believe these two do a Pokemon podcast and they're not excited for the new trailer, which released today, about, 4 hours ago?
Yeah, something like that.
So we're coming into this very fresh. Just like, should we just jump straight into it, because I'm ready to just start talking about this trailer.
Yeah, let's go straight into it, because let's face it, this is one of the better trailers we've had so far, right? Okay,
I agree. That was going to be my first question. Like, what are your initial impressions? So positive?
Yeah, no, massively positive. Yes.
It
It answered questions that I asked them to answer without giving too much information. Perfect trailer.
Exactly what we were talking about last week, wasn't it? Around the marketing. Again, yeah, absolutely the same. I wanted a trailer that kind of gave you a taste of the region and what you would be doing, but not necessarily go, okay, here are all 8 gym leaders. Oh, here are all the new Pokemon. It gave enough to entice you into the 3 ways of playing without... I mean, basically, I'd imagine what we've seen is the first mission for each of the 3 ways to play. So there's still...
quote unquote first mission, because let's not forget, you can go in whatever order you want.
Wow, yes. So on that, right, look, I think we've already started then on the 3 different ways of playing. Have they confirmed yet? Because I don't see this anywhere. You can take on all 3 paths. Do you choose one, and once you've completed the game, you're locked out the other 2? Do we know anything about that yet?
So you can do all 3 paths in any order you wish and swap between them as you go.
Oh, that's the answer I wanted. It's not the answer I expected, though, to be quite honest.
So you can head to a town knowing that there's a gym there, cross a Starfall base on your way, take out their team leader, and then see a tower and be like, oh, right, I'll call Arvin up, get him down here, and we'll go explore that, and then I'll go do the gym that I initially headed for.
Wow, I love that. So, so the first way to play, is that called Starfall Street?
Starfall Street is, yes, seems to be
what was in the trailer, yeah.
Seems to be where Team Star, our new, possibly one of, or at least the main evil team that we're getting, the group of delinquents from the school.
Rebellious students.
That's the one. That's where they all hang out. And there are a number of these dotted around the region, a number of these bases where they're all held up. And from what we can see, Starfall Street, you will have to kick down the door to the bases and be like, I'm here to take on the boss. I'm here to take on the big I am of these parts, who is going to have some kind of Starmobile, which is what they've called it, a Starmobile, which we've seen the big car with the flames on the side. I will come back to the Starmobile. We'll talk more about that in a minute. But to get to them, you have to get through Starfall Street, or their base, where all of the Team Star grunts and stuff are just going to be throwing their Pokemon at you all at once, seemingly.
So there's so much to break down, and let's take it bit by bit, because I'm just worried we're going to miss stuff out, because there was so much to unpack in this trailer. So I'm going to start with, I think the part that excited me the most is about, you're making your way through and the battle mechanics, because what you see in the trailer for a couple of seconds is what I think is the auto battle sequence in play. So you've got Makuhita and I forget the Gen 7 or Ikoria battling a number of Houndours, and the trainer's just running around, so a bit like Legends Arceus. So I'm just wondering how that functions, how that works. What do you think?
So from what I've read on the website, it's called the Let's Go function, which is their following mechanic for this generation. So in previous trailers, we've seen like the starters following you and running by your side. Apparently now, whatever Pokemon you decide to use the Let's Go mechanic with will run by your side, will go and pick up items for you, and can auto-battle Pokemon.
Okay.
They will just find random Pokemon, or maybe you can go get them over there, and they will just auto-battle.
Brilliant.
If they win, they get XP and will pick up items from the fallen Pokemon, which suggests again that the items that from fallen Pokemon comes back from Legends Arceus. So you know how you could defeat Pokemon in Legends Arceus and you'd be like, oh, well, I got some Mud Ball or whatever else. So Pokemon are going to be holding these crafting items ready for your Pokemon to pick up in auto battling. So yes, that's what we see. That's at least what it looks like we're seeing but there's two out. And if you read the website, it says you can do it with one Pokemon. So is that because you and a partner were doing it? So one of your mates in the multiplayer also had a Pokemon out on the Let's Go mechanic. So they were auto battling as well. So you can do these star raids as a group. Ooh.
That'd be interesting. We can only speculate at this point because in the trailer you don't see a second trainer.
No.
But the follow mechanic has always been you have one Pokemon following you. You never have multiple Pokemon following you.
Well, it even specifically says you can have one Pokemon out and walking with you.
Right. There might be something where I don't know. I've seen it in other RPGs before where, you know, you have your one main character, one main fighter, whatever it is, and then you can almost send in extra Pokemon, well, extra monsters or characters or whatever the function of the RPG is to do like bonus attacks. So that's something that we might see in place where you have your one Pokemon that is auto battling, and then maybe, I don't know, there's a meter that builds up. You get to throw out a second Pokemon to deliver a team attack or something like that. Because even though we got to see this, we didn't get to see a UI overlaid over it.
There is that on the website.
Oh, is there? Right.
So you can see the Pokemon that you have the Let's Go function with has basically a little health bar in the bottom left-hand corner. A little sprite of it and a health bar. And that's the only information that's there.
That's it. Okay.
And then you obviously get pop-ups that say when your Pokemon's picked up an item and it tells you what the item does.
Okay, so I think then I think you're right. I think that must be a second player's Pokemon.
I think so. I hadn't realized it until I was talking to you about it, but that's why I love this podcast because I get to just have these thoughts roll through my head and I talk about them and I'm like, oh wait, that's a thing. I love it. I love it so much.
That's so good. So let's go back to the vehicle then, shall we?
Yes, because another really cool thing from the website is there's a bunch of new art on the website.
Yes,
and one of them is to do with the car. It's got the car on it, and the car's engine. Have you seen it?
No, go on.
Right, so the engine of the car right at the front has an eyeball. And then above it's got like a piston thing with jagged bits that are like teeth. And then in the artwork there is a tongue sticking out of it, confirming pretty much that at least the engine part of it is a Pokemon. And considering all of these star team leaders are going to have their own Starmobile, I reckon it's going to be like the engine is the Pokemon, and then that's attached to lots of different kinds of vehicles.
I like that. So the image I'm looking at with the eye and everything, and it's kind of got a silvery black browny color to it. And the first Pokemon I thought of was the Dusk Noir line. Now I don't think it will be that Pokemon. I think if they have Pokemon in the engines, that it'll be brand new Pokemon. It makes sense to introduce new Pokemon in this mechanic, but potentially then it functions maybe a bit like Rotom in the Pokedex, for example.
Very possibly, where it takes over whatever you put it in, kind of thing.
Yes. So I'm looking at this vehicle now, and I absolutely love it. So I'm looking at the one where you've got Torkoal on the top of it with the new person who is Is it Mela? Mila?
Mia. Yeah.
Me.
And I've just sent you the image that I'm looking at.
Oh, have you now? Oh, look at that. Oh, that does look absolutely fantastic. Wow.
And
so,
it almost confirms Biker Gang.
Biker Gang, yes. Oh, I'm so ready for this, and I am hoping. Okay, so what I am hoping with this way of playing is that when you are battling, so when you're battling her Torkoal on top of the car, I kind of expect the car to take turns as well. If it's a Pokemon,
yep, carry on.
I'm expecting it. You know, the first time you do it, you go in, you go, oh, I've got 6 Pokemon, they've got 2. Right, okay, so I attack. Oh, the Pokemon's down to half HP. Then all of a sudden, it's a bit like Legends Arceus, where you could get back-to-back turns using the agile attacks. I'm half expecting a surprise attack in that first battle, and then all of a sudden you're thinking, oh, there's a Pokemon in the car, and it's used whatever it's got. So the one that I'm looking at has lights, it has speakers. Obviously, it's a car, which means it has wheels and engines and things like that. I'm really expecting this car to be a surprise. You beat them, and maybe you get the opportunity to catch the Pokemon that's inside that car.
Very
maybe.
Possibly. So, do you want me to read this for you?
Yeah,
Take on the bosses riding their Starmobiles. Once you overcome the waves of Team Star grunts, their boss will appear in a custom car called the Starmobile. It seems that during your Pokemon battles with these bosses, the Starmobile itself will get in your way. Take down each squad's boss by defeating their party Pokemon and their Starmobiles.
Oh, so... right, okay. So it gives you enough to speculate on, but it doesn't tell you. We are going to be in for so many surprises. As long as they don't give stuff away in the later trailers, we are going to be in such. This has the potential just to wow us in terms of, okay, they've not just gone for this is the third way to play, and it's basically Pokemon battles. This feels like it could be very unique and nothing that we've seen for in a Pokemon game. And yeah, I'm so excited for it.
It's going to be something else.
It definitely is.
Which I never expected to say for a Pokemon game. You know, we have seen Pokemon for many, many years be the same thing and just iterate on its formula. This looks like something else, which is I'm so ready for.
Me too. Before we move on, what do you think of her design?
I think she looks great. What is effectively the fire-type gym leader of the evil team, which is kind of how they're suggesting it is. Like, you've got to go take down all the evil bosses. She's the fire-type one. I think it's a cool design. I love her boots. I love her black ink hands. She looks... yes.
It's a very unique design. I can't think the last time we saw such a standout design from the Pokemon team. I definitely not in the last couple of generations at least. Maybe Black and White had some really strong designs. I'm thinking of Genos and N with the quirky hairstyles and everything. So I love that it seems like they're not holding back. They're going, you know what? If we're going to do something different, we might as well just go for it. And her design is fantastic. It feels like she could be a real character and presence in this game, which I'm really looking forward to. And I love the fact that this is Pokemon's way of doing something that has been out in other games and other series for a while, where I'm thinking Assassin's Creed, where at any point you can go to the towers, you can do the towers. And I'm loving that the more I see and hear about this, it feels a lot more open world in terms of you go out into the world, okay, these are all the places you can go, and actually in those places there will be different things for you to accomplish, and as you are going to, a certain area, something might take your eye or your fancy, and you're like, oh, well, I'll put a pin in what I was going to do. I want to go and explore that cave. I want to go and explore that tower. And that is something that Legends Arceus was lacking, that there wasn't really, other than seeing new Pokemon, you typically just go, okay, right, I'm going to point A to point B to point C. And it was very rare, at least in my experience, for me to go, oh, before I go there, I'm going to have a look at that rock formation over there, unless there was a Pokemon that I hadn't seen before. So this really does feel like, and said it before, Pokemon or Game Freak's attempt at something similar to Legends of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, where you are exploring and there's just constantly new things that take your eye, and before you know it, you've sunken 5 hours into the gameplay and you still haven't accomplished what you originally set out to do. And I'm all for it. I can't wait.
It is. I like, as you say, Legends Arceus was a great game, but there wasn't much to explore. Like, I remember there was one place in the icy area where it's like, oh, I fell down a hole and found Alpha Frostlass.
That was about,
I guess that's really cool. Yeah. But yeah, there's not a lot else going on in that game, whereas this looks like every corner you turn, there will be something new to do, something new to find.
Definitely. Okay, shall we move on to the second way to play that has been revealed in this trailer?
Yes, we have the ability to go search for herbs.
Which in itself sounds quite
boring.
But this trailer sells it.
We are trying to gather up the Herba Mystica. Well, more accurately, Arvin is trying to gather up the Herba Mystica. But because he sucks, he needs us to basically escort him. The whole campaign is an escort mission, trying to gather these glowy flower things. Luckily for us, it's not as boring as it sounds, because these big glowy flowers are defended by Titans!
Titans! Oh, what a powerful name to go for. So we've had... So this, I think I mentioned this in the Discord earlier on when we were just chatting. It feels like a natural progression of what we had with Totem Pokemon into Legends Arceus with the Alpha Pokemon. And then now we have Titans, which are bumped up, powerful Pokemon that you will probably struggle against. At least that's what I'm looking forward to. And the thing that set it out for me is when I was on the Pokemon website and we got to see the new Pokemon Klawf, which is the rock type, crab type Pokemon, and you get to see its health bar. And it's huge. It's absolutely, the Pokemon's huge and the health bar is huge, which makes me think that this is going to be, it's going to be a challenge, to be honest with you, to take down these powerful mons.
It looks like a one-on-one raid battle.
Yeah.
To put it in context, that's what it looks like. And it's going to be absolutely insane. I can't wait to see all the Pokemon that have decided to go big with.
Yes.
And again, we've still not seen inside the towers.
No, it's hidden that from us, because I'm pretty sure it said somewhere, didn't it, that you need to go inside, but we haven't seen that. We've literally just seen the main character run around. He knocks out a couple of the smaller Klawfs, and then it zooms in on what looks like to be a rock formation, and a big Klawf, just the stony cliff titan, jumps down to attack.
Yeah, so it does look like the herbs are held up within the towers, which means that you defeat the Titan before you even enter the dungeon.
Yes.
Which is kind of backwards. You do the boss fight first and then get to go in the dungeon.
Yeah, which I'm actually okay with that, because it would mix it up, because typically you go in the dungeon, you progress through the dungeon, and at the end there's a boss of some kind in a game, and you beat them, and you've done it. I quite like the other way around, where then the dungeon almost becomes your reward for beating that Pokemon. So then you can go inside, and then imagine it won't just be the herbs that you get. You will likely get other items, rarer Pokemon, maybe. And it's just another opportunity to play the game a different way, explore new areas. And I'm optimistic about this. My thought around it, though, is these herbs obviously you're gathering them for Arvin, but are they going to have an effect on the game and how you play it?
So
Are
it
you going to get a
says
perk?
he will offer you his handmade dishes, which he makes with the herbs. And the herbs
Mm.
all have different magical quote unquote powers. So some of them are known
Oh.
to like fully heal your Pokemon. I'm not sure. They've been very tight-lipped about exactly what this is, but I can imagine these herbs
Hmm.
being so rare, they're not just going to be, oh, it's a max revive, but you've got to go through a
No,
dungeon to get it.
I think if they're going to go anywhere with this could potentially be the way that they boost certain items. So you can in the game, in every game you can go and get the X items. You rarely use them. However, let's say Arvin cooks you a dish that goes, oh, okay, you use this X item, it actually gives you +6, or oh, it gives you +1 in every stat. Suddenly, that's an item where you're thinking, actually, that's not too shabby because you get to get, a huge power up using an item in one turn rather than having to do it over multiple turns that you would with X items. So that's where I could potentially see it going, maybe. But also, we could have herbs that function maybe in the same way as the O powers or the Rotom powers that we've had in previous games that give a boost to catching, give a boost to your stats, for example. That could be in play maybe, and there's a cooldown. So by the time you've done it, you've got 8 new ways to boost certain stats or ways to play, and maybe they're on a cooldown. Maybe that's how we're going to use these herbs.
Yeah, it's interesting because literally it reads Arvin's research into healthy recipes for Pokemon has led him to seek out rare ingredients called Herba Mystica, which are said to immediately restore health once eaten. That's it. That's all the information we get on them, other than the fact that they're rare.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
we literally everything would be speculation. Everything we
Yes.
say today would be speculation on those. But that might be the story I'm most interested in so far.
Right. Okay. Okay. I. Why is that? Out of curiosity.
One, Titan Pokemon.
Yeah.
I just get to run around going Titan, which is always good
Titan!
fun. Which is always good fun. But also just because again, I still think this is going to be the one that's got loads of lore. I think this is going to be the area where you get to
Okay.
explore
Yeah.
the ancient traditions and stuff of Paldea.
Yeah. Yeah. I think this is probably the one for me where you'll see new Pokemon in all of them,
Hmm.
in all of the 3 ways that you play. But this almost feels to me like this is going to be the one where you get to see the most powerful or the most unique, maybe, because the look at the size of that Klawf. Sure, if you are building Pokemon that size, you must have something in mind where maybe you've got this opportunity to create really big Pokemon, and therefore the designs are going to be really unique and things that you can't typically do with the smaller Pokemon. Um, and like you say, this is the one for me that I feel like will reward you the most in terms of seeking out these hidden areas. I've got a feeling the gyms and this facing off against the school's troublemakers, the Star Path one, they're going to be really obvious. Like you're going to see them before you know it. Whereas these ones feel like they're going to be a bit more hidden, and
Hmm.
therefore, when you do find them, you'll feel a lot more rewarded for tracking them down. I mean, for all we know, they could be like plain obvious, already marked on the map, but it sounds like they're going to be a lot more hidden, which I'm all for.
Yeah, let me come discover these things. Couple other
Yes.
aspects of this. It well and truly confirms that Pokemon scaling is here and
Yeah.
is in
At
full display.
last. We got to see a bit of it in Legends Arceus.
A very little bit.
A little bit, but we did get to see, okay, some of the Pokemon sizing is slightly different. Now it's time. I want to see the big Pokemon. I want
Uh-huh.
to see the legends. I want to see Ultra Beasts. I want to see Mons that you throw out into battle or are thrown out into battle against you, and you look at the sheer size of them and think, okay, that's a big Pokemon, and therefore you're intimidated. You're thinking, okay, how am I going to beat this? It just helps to add to the atmosphere, and it goes back to what we've said in previous trailers and discussions, that it makes it feel like no two Pokemon are the same. They might be the same species, however, they're different in, size and how they act and things like that. And it just helps to make it feel like Pokemon aren't all the same.
Yeah, I fully agree. That was one of the coolest bits of Legends as well, was all the Pokemon being different sizes, even though that technically came in Let's Go, right?
Did it?
Yeah, no, all the Pokemon, well, they weren't as obvious, but they all had auras and stuff being like, it's tiny! It's huge!
Oh, yes, they did, didn't they? Did that actually make a difference? Were they actually smaller and bigger?
I don't know. You've played the game. I haven't.
Yeah, I don't think they were any different. I do remember it saying that, but I can't remember them actually being different.
Or is at least in Legends, they were actually different sizes. Like, you could throw two Pokemon out and they would be different sizes.
Yes.
And you had to spend half the game looking for a freaking big Weasel. Never going to let them forget that.
No,
that was the worst. That was the absolute worst mission. I hated it so much.
Yes. But just as a little side note, what I did like about Legends Arceus, one thing they got right is when you gave over Pokemon to certain people, you actually gave your Pokemon. So if you caught Shiny and gave them the Shiny, they would just have the Shiny next to them. Like the character models stayed as whatever Pokemon you gave them. And the size, again, going back to what I just said, like makes it feel like, okay, this Pokemon was my Pokemon. It's different than the other Pokemon. And if we get to see more of that in this game, even better. I don't know if we will, but the trailers made all the right steps and all the right noises. So he is hoping that they are implementing all the great features from previous Pokemon games that people have been asking for, and they've kind of dropped, or they've let them take a break from a generation. And hopefully this is the one where we start to get all the great mechanics that we like back. Shall we move on to the third and final way to play this game? The most surprising of them all?
We can. I just want to add in, you're saying like, oh, you can drop off your Pokemon and stuff. You know the farms where they ask, oh, can I have a Pokemon to water all my plants?
Mm-hmm.
I left my Palkia.
What? Wait, what? On purpose or on accident?
Oh, no, on purpose. Because you can swap them out. It was just really funny to see Origin Form Palkia watering the farm.
Just watering the farm. Literally the Pokemon of space, isn't he? The Pokemon of space farming.
Having a great time. Loving every minute of it. But yes, the third and final way to play this game, surprise, surprise.
What?
Gym challenge.
Gym challenge. Oh, I didn't expect that. So let's break this down. So typical gym challenge. There are 8 gyms, right? Yes. So I was hoping that there would be a number of gyms and you only had to tackle 8, but it sounds like there is only 8. Still no confirmation on any level scaling, but I don't think they are going to. I don't think they will reveal that. The fact that they aren't revealing that it's a level scaling in any way makes me think it's not level scaling. They are set levels, and you can challenge them at whatever order that you want.
I mean, yeah, but this guy throws out a Smoliv. No. I don't want to be taking on a Smoliv.
No, agree. I absolutely agree with you. It is a little bit disappointing that there isn't. It seems to be any level scaling. One thing that we're getting back is the gym challenges. So the first one, it looks like it's rounding up a load of Sunflora, right? Which
yes,
God.
And not even just within the gym, within the city.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Across the entire town.
Okay, I like that.
Because so the gyms are now supposed to, and more importantly, the gym challenge is supposed to incorporate aspects of not only the gym leader themselves, but the town they inhabit and sort of look after.
Ooh.
So we're going to get a lot of local lore and how different people live their lives via the gym challenge.
Oh, I like that.
Really cool.
Because I must admit the way that they do the puzzles and everything before a gym leader, the formula's gotten stale. But I think what has kept it going for so long is the fact that you don't typically see the same type of puzzles repeated over and over again. They always come up with unique ways and Gen 8 was fantastic. I mean, look at the was it the fourth gym against? Yeah, it was the fourth gym against in Swords. You face off against B, and you're basically on a giant pinball machine going down, and like they are constantly coming up with new and unique ways of doing that. This just seems like, okay, let's take that a step further. And if it actually, the challenge that you do before you take on the gym leader impacts the story in terms of, building lore around the town and the Paldea region, again, it sounds like they've taken something and go, right, let's take this to the next, a step further, which I didn't think they would be able to do, to be honest with you. And it sounds like they're doing it.
Yep. So we meet Brassius, the grass-type gym leader, who is the leader of Artisan Town.
I like that.
Artisan. He is an artist. And you know that Sunflora statue we've seen?
Oh, he's made it. Oh, yes. Surrendering Sunflora.
Yes. Surrendering Sunflora. Great name. Love it. Apparently, there's a number of these installations around. Nobody knows quite what it's surrendering to.
The sun. I don't know. If any Pokemon's going to be surrendering, it's Sunflora. It's one of the weakest Pokemon, but I'm kind of hoping that this gives them the opportunity to. Imagine if you throws out a Sunflora and it's got some, new moves for Gen 9, and suddenly you go from thinking, oh, this is going to be a cakewalk to, oh, Sunflora actually did something in battle.
Speaking of new moves for Gen 9, we did see another one.
I missed that.
Trailblazer.
What does that do?
I have no idea, but it was super effective.
Is that the one that Sudowoodo used? Okay.
Sudowoodo uses. So he terrestrializes Sudowoodo into a grass type, which is so cool. Love that.
I love that because Sudowoodo is normally rock. So you wouldn't typically see that in the gym, which opens up opportunities for the later gyms where, they aren't limited with, okay, right, I'm the gym leader of this gym, therefore I can only use flying type Pokemon. Now they can choose another Pokemon that is a completely different typing and terrestrialize it into a flying type Pokemon. I love that. I love that addition.
Did you read the line as well? Oh, so he terrestrializes Sudowoodo into a grass type, and he's like, I will call this masterpiece Truly Wudo.
Oh no, that's such a bad pun, and I love it. Truly Wudo. What?
It was amazing. I love it. I love the character that they're giving all of these sort of NPCs.
Make them stand out, make them feel unique, make them feel like they belong. Just make it feel like that is one of the things that I did enjoy with Gen 8. But again, some of them didn't really stand out. Others did. This hopefully is again a step in the right direction where they've gone, okay, let's just build on what's come before. Let's give these new, trainers and gym leaders and everything else, more of a personality. Which, I absolutely love. Did you notice the character model for Sudowoodo? Yes.
The texture on it.
It's
gorgeous.
It actually looks like a rock. Which for the longest time it hasn't really, not in the games at least. And for me, puts to bed the fact that, this should be a grass type. And I know it shouldn't. It should be a rock type, but the previous sprites have made it look like a tree. This makes me go, that's not a tree. That is, it's a rock. It's literally a fossilized rock. And I know I'm jumping around here, but the updated talk hole as well. You don't get to see, it's not as obvious, but the character model for that has also been updated slightly. But other Pokemon aren't, which maybe they are cherry picking certain Pokemon and developing them.
I doubt that they're cherry picking them as much as they are just doing it step at a time. Why they would show off some Pokemon who weren't ready yet, then I'm not sure. But we're only 2 months out. Realistically, they should be done with this game by now.
You'd hope.
You'd really hope.
But yeah, I've said this before. I am okay with them, game by game, they update more and more texture models and animations, and they do it that way. But
yes, but do it for at least all the Pokemon who are in the game.
It feels like it's a halfway house where it's like, right, either commit to it or don't. Because if you half-arse it, unfortunately, you're just leaving yourself open to criticism because people won't remember the ones that you have updated. They'll go, well, why didn't you do the rest? And why haven't you updated these Pokemon?
Yeah, it's more recognizable.
Yeah, exactly. It makes the ones that they haven't done stand out, but not in a good way. So we also get introduced to Geeta, who's the chairwoman.
Ms. Geeta.
Ms. Geeta. Who... Okay, what do you think of this character model?
She looks like a psychic type gym leader. Is my initial thought.
Did you ever play Bayonetta? Are you aware of what Bayonetta
I am
is?
aware of Bayonetta, but I never played it.
So I never played it. The only reason I know about it is I used to love Devil May Cry games, and it's in a similar genre. Yep. And she is available as a fighter on Super Smash Bros. So the moment I saw her, I was like, is this hair, is this hair alive? Like, does she use it? Which made me think, like you said, is she, mixed between a psychic type and a dark type? Maybe. I do quite like a character model. I'm not gonna lie. It does look quite formal. It'll be interesting to see where they go with her, because we've had the traditional businessman in Chairman Rose. So this looks quite distinct. It very much stands out. What do you think her role is? I'm just curious.
I'm not entirely sure, because I should say that we only really got a chairman of the league.
Yes.
In Galar.
Yes.
It was kind of introduced to us there.
Thing.
It's a cool idea. It makes sense for a established league that is like, now that they've gone, well, it's across the world. It's not just in this region. It's like world tournament class battlers and recognition kind of thing. So it makes sense that you would have a chairman or somebody who heads it up.
Yeah.
How much influence is she going to have? I'm not sure. I think she might be the champion.
So I was just going to say that, and what kind of puts me down that route is on the website says she reigns supreme as the most skilled trainer of all.
There you go. Then.
Surely, if you're the most skilled trainer of all, you're the champion, right? Unless you step down or something. But
it does say among the region's champions.
Yeah. So,
because of course the goal is to get to champion rank. Which is a rank within Paldea. Yeah. So it's not just I am the champion. It's no, I have attained the champion rank. I go through, I do all the 8 gyms, and then I can do the league test to gain champion rank. And then will there be like a battle of champions? Is that what we're heading towards? And then she will be the final boss of the battle of champions? What
I'm potentially thinking, and because I've been saying it this entire podcast, they are building on what has come before and updating, upgrading, improving, experimenting. I can't help but feel we are getting something similar to we got in Sword and Shield, which did away with the typical Elite Four, and you have a tournament, and maybe that is what we are getting. So you do the gym challenge, and then, like you say, okay, all the best trainers from across the region come together to battle it out to decide who is best, and she just happens to be the final hurdle, like Leon was.
I mean, I love that idea. I love the idea of it being a league.
Yes, yeah.
She got to bite. You got to battle a bunch of different people as like the days and weeks go on, and then you climb the rankings or whatever. So it's a league. It's not just a knockout competition.
Yeah.
Whether that will be the case is unlikely, but that would make sense to me as a case of like, okay, I have proved myself. I have achieved champion rank.
Yeah.
I'm a Paldea champion. I can now take part in the Champions League.
Yeah, yeah. What I want in terms of this and the final battles is I want them to go where Sword and Shield, where I thought Sword and Shield was going, but they didn't. So it's at the end of Sword and Shield, it's basically a knockout competition but in the story, you always battle the same trainers.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't a fan of that. What I want is for that to be random so that you can bring what you think is you would need to bring a diverse team because you don't know what kind of trainer you are going to be battling. I would love that.
You've just made speedrunners everywhere cry.
Oh, I'd be fine. I'm fine with that. Yeah, I love chaos in games, so bring it on. Speaking of battles, we get to hear what I imagine is the gym music theme, the battle music.
Oh my god, they brought back the cheering crowds.
Dun, 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 dun. Like it starts off the exact same as Gen 8, but then it takes its own spin on it. Yeah. And I like the moment I heard that, I thought, oh right, they're just putting that in for nostalgia. But no, it just goes in its own direction. And like, I think for all the faults and issues that Gen 8 has, the music isn't one of them. The music
is standout. It's one of the best music tracks, soundtracks.
Yes, that's the words. Yep.
It's one of the best soundtracks of any Pokemon game ever.
Agreed. And to hear that theme, I was like, okay, right. The music, whatever else happens with this game, the music is probably gonna land. It's just gonna be amazing.
Love it.
So
absolutely love it.
So I do want to talk about the new Pokemon, but before I do, I just want to do two quick things. I think we're getting day and night. This trailer kind of confirms it because there are shots where the sun is setting, when the sun has set, and then during the day as well. So I think we are getting, like you mentioned last week, Legends Arceus, day and night cycle coming in.
Good times.
And we don't get to see the full map. However, they make a point of showing in the trailer like multiple screen grabs of the different parts of the trailer. And I actually took a screenshot of this because I was like, okay, how much are we seeing? And other than two of them being the same map but slightly rotated, every single one is different.
Yeah.
So makes me think this map is surely the map is going to be as big as all of the Legends Arceus ones combined, maybe bigger, who knows? But typically every game series that I've ever played, the maps only get bigger every game. So,
yeah. And it's an open world, and realistically, that means I need spaces to explore.
Yes.
My biggest worry was going to be it was a case of, well, it's big, but there's nothing in it.
Yeah.
My fears of that are slowly subsiding. I will still hold on to them for the foreseeable future, but they are subsiding and being put at rest. It looks good.
Yeah,
it looks good.
It really does, and like what for me helps to reinforce that, okay, the world is going to feel more lived in, as if this was a typical Pokemon game that come before. There'd be 8 cities and a handful of forests and stuff. Well, no, you've got the 8 cities at bare minimum for the gyms. You've got 8 bases lurking around. You've got 8 areas where the Titan Pokemon are.
I think there's confirmed more than that.
Oh, is there?
The towers and that, because we've had a full resolution of the map now. And
I've not seen this. Okay.
People have spotted that there's more than 8 towers. I think there's like 12 towers. And like 10 star flags around the map.
Okay.
I might be wrong on those numbers, but I remember distinctly it being more than 8.
So, do you think we are getting where the towers function as some kind of map reveal, like in most other games?
Possibly.
Yeah?
Possibly. We saw that shot of our main character looking out over the towers. And
we did, yes.
Doing the Assassin's Creed pull out and show the region around it. So it wouldn't surprise me.
So these are concepts that have been in video games for 15 odd years. We're now only finally getting them in Pokemon, but you know what? I don't care if it's late. This is what it's making the steps in the right directions, which is why it's needed for a while. Shall we move on to the new Pokemon that have been introduced in this trailer?
Yes. Where do we want to start with this?
Should we
start
with
Klawf?
Let's start with
We've already started on there.
Okay. Initial impressions in terms of design.
It's a crab.
It's a crab. But like other crabs we've had, it at least looks different than the other ones that we've had. And
it looks more like a crab than the other Pokemon we've
definitely
had.
does. And pure rock as well, which was surprising, but it makes sense if it is a cliff crab, basically.
Yeah, so it like hangs on the undersides of cliffs, waits for people or Pokemon to walk under it, and then drops on top of them.
Oh yeah. Latches upside down onto cliffs to ambush its prey from above. So we could potentially be getting that if when you've beaten it, you go into the dungeon and you're running and you get, the kind of static encounters that we're used to in some of the older Pokemon games, like in Reflection Cave, where you're just running and you see a shadow on the floor and then all of a sudden a Pokemon drops and you initiate a battle. So we could potentially see something like that happening. And we've had its ability released as well, Anger Shell.
Anger Shell, which is effectively, how Defeatist ruins Archeops? Archeops?
Yeah,
Archon and Archeops.
Yeah.
Defeatist ruins Archeops once it gets to half health. Well, this basically gives Klawf Shell Smash.
It's basically Shell Smash, yeah. Which I like that because you can couple it with a couple of different things. So you could give it a white herb, knowing that, okay, well, I get to have all the benefits and none of the downsides of Shell Smash, and it doesn't cost me a turn to set up. I just need to basically survive an attack. If it gets some kind of move that boosts its speed or an item to boost its speed, coupled with, an increase in special attack on top of the speed boost that it'll get, you could potentially sweep with this Pokemon if you've set up right.
It'll be interesting to see how much play it gets. Again, I don't think it's massive. Like, it's not game changing. You got to remember we're coming out of a generation that had Zacian, which got an attack boost just for being on the field.
Yeah.
So half health, free Shell Smash. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Definitely. I quite like this Pokemon. Doesn't stand out to me as much as some of the other Pokemon. I think the thing that does make it stand out, just that little bit more, is the fact that it's a Titan Pokemon.
Yes.
But the other two Pokemon that were introduced at the end of this trailer definitely are unique in terms of how they're so
look. Good.
They are beautiful. So these have grown on me. So the first time when I saw these at first, I was like, oh, they feel very Mega Man, very Digimon. But
they do feel a little bit Digimon. I will give you that.
But the more I'm looking at them, the more they are growing on me. I love the fact that they complement each other. Which one do you want to tackle first?
Let's go with Armorouge.
Okay, Armorouge. So
that's the name we've landed on. Whether that's right or not, we're not sure.
Know.
But
so this Pokemon is only you can only get this in Pokemon Scarlet. Fire and Psychic type. So have we had any Fire and Psychic types other than the Delphox line? I think we have we? Oh, Victini, yes. I think that's it, isn't it?
I think that's it.
And I loved the animation in the trailer where it's two
pauldrons come down, connect together, and become a cannon.
Cannon. It's absolutely amazing. So just to kind of read what's on the Pokemon website, Armorouge believes in a fair fight and will challenge an opponent head on, no matter how much stronger that opponent is. It specializes in using its sturdy armor to bolster its defenses and take down enemies with its high firepower. So out of the two mons, this is probably the bulkier of the two, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I'd imagine this is more defensive and probably a special attacker.
I'd agree with that. So it has a fire type special move in which Armorouge moves both its pauldrons to its hands to point its arms together to form a cannon. This is one of the more powerful moves that Armorouge can learn, but it lowers Armorouge's defense and special defense stats in exchange for that power. So very similar to moves that we've seen in the past, like close combat.
Like close combat.
Yeah. But it looks fantastic. In the screenshots of it using it in battle look absolutely fantastic. I love it.
Oh yeah, they picked the right background for it, didn't they?
Oh, they did.
The lovely orange skies and stuff like that.
It's like, come on.
Well done, boys. Well done.
But I love this Mon's design. It's a bit strange, really, because this Mon both of these mons feel like they might have fitted a bit more in Sword and Shield with the.
I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, but I'm sure there's a reason they're being implemented in this. Do you think they are potentially some kind of legendary Pokemon? They've got that look about them.
They do. I don't think they are a legendary Pokemon. I think they are the equivalent of Hitmonlee, Hitmonchan for this region.
Okay, right, yeah, that makes sense.
To the extent of, I even think they. Okay, we'll come on to this as well. Do we think they evolve from the same Pokemon, or are they the same? So on the thing of like, are they the same as what Miraidon and Koraidon are to each other? They're related, but they're not the same Pokemon.
Potentially.
You can only get one in Scarlet and you can only get the other one in Violet. It would make sense.
It would. I don't know. This could be like the Cosmog line again, like you said, where it evolves into, Lunala or Solgaleo, depending on which game you are playing. So maybe that is dependent on. It has a base form, and depending on which game you're playing, that's the mon that you get. But like say, like I don't know. Part of me likes the idea of them being related but not coming from the same Pokemon. Because that just messes. I just don't like that in terms of a lore aspect where it's like, it evolves depending on the Pokemon what Pokemon game you're playing. Okay, I understand how that works in
game,
digital
just not in lore.
game, but in lore, how does that work? Because they are the same region. It's not like there's a difference between the regions. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe we'll see them introduce something unique where you get it has a base form. And it evolves via an item, but the item is only available in the Pokemon game that you've got. So, a bit like, I'm trying to think if there's another equivalent of that we've had before. So I guess the one I'm thinking of is in Sword and Shield. You can get the Rusted Sword and the Rusted Shield, and the only way to get the equivalent from the other game is to trade over a mon holding that item.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so you get the item to evolve into your game's version. In your game, you will get that no matter what. But if you wanted to evolve it into the alternative version, you would need to somehow get the item from the other game, perhaps. That might be an option.
They are both clearly connected to their armor. Like I think it's even stated somewhere that that's what they're all about, is they are the armor Pokemon kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Part of me really because I'm still on the time travel thing. I'm still on not necessarily time travel, but like Pokemon from different eras. I feel like these could be the same Pokemon.
Oh,
like,
okay.
So the Armorouge is the ancient version of it when it was still valiant and it was still powerful and it was still ready to fight anyone. And then it went through tragedy and it lost a battle by getting stabbed in the back, and it had some of its armor robbed. And what Ceruledge is wearing is like the remainders of that armor, and that's why it's like full of grudge. And so I don't know.
What kind of buys into that is that Ceruledge is more about it'll just use any tactics to win, such as sneak attacks, and its move is called Bitter Blade. Fire-type physical move that gathers the lingering regrets of the fallen into its swords, allowing it to focus that bitterness into a slashing attack. The sword then absorbs life energy from wounds they made. Oh, and the HP is restored by up to half. Okay, that is interesting. So, fire-type physical move restores HP. I don't think we've had a fire-type move that restores HP yet.
No.
But I might be wrong.
It's
so I
mostly
like that.
grass moves that do that.
Yeah, there's a couple of new ones they've introduced, a couple of fairy and stuff like that. But I think this is the first time that we've seen a fire-type move that can restore HP. I'm not completely sold, but there is something there about them being the same Pokemon, just from different periods of time.
Or at least the same Pokemon donning different sets of armor and then being like, well, okay. Yeah. No,
You're thinking?
Thoughts.
Go on.
Thoughts and things. No, just thoughts and things.
Okay.
I will have to sit with it for a little while. Which one do you prefer?
They're putting me on the spot here. I think when I first saw them released, I preferred the Armorouge, but reading descriptions and information, I think Ceruledge takes it for me at the moment.
I think it is Ceruledge for me as well.
Which
it is the edgier Pokemon.
Yeah, I see what you did there.
But which is a shame because you want Violet at least.
I want Violet, so I'm happy with that. It's because Ceruledge is the one that's in Pokemon Violet. So
you're gonna have to catch one and trade it over to me then.
Oh well,
I might just have to buy both. Stupid game.
I've never bought both. I don't think I will ever buy both. But this is the game that is making me go. Like I said when we were chatting in the Discord earlier on, I was like, I know you said not to pre-order the game, but this is kind of it. I'm not going to pre-order the game, but I am going to get it on day of release. These Pokemon are absolutely fantastic. We're not seeing anything in the trailers about time at the moment.
No, we're not.
Maybe that's because it is not in the game. Maybe they are hiding things. The fact that, we are several trailers in, only a couple of months out from release, and they're only now releasing information about the different ways to play, makes me think they are being tight-lipped.
We're 2 months out now, and we've only just got our first exclusives, other than the box art legendaries, and the other ways we can play the game.
Yep.
Like they are being tight-lipped.
So
we can't say they're not at this point.
No, so they are being tight-lipped, but the difference between Sword and Shield was they were being tight-lipped because they didn't want to announce some of the bad news in some fans' eyes that they had, whereas this feels like they are being more strategic about, okay, what information are we going to release? How much of that information are we going to release? And when are we going to release it? So who knows? Maybe there is something around time travel and they are just holding back on it, but we'll have to wait and see.
I'll have to wait and see.
What a journey that was. Speaking of journeys, are you ready to move on to our Pokemon journey discussion?
Yeah, I think that covered most of the trailer.
Yeah. It's a great trailer. Looking forward to hopefully another trailer this time next week. So, here's hoping.
No, I can't keep up with it all.
Right, so it's that time again where we continue watching Pokemon Journeys and discuss 3 episodes this week as normal, and what we liked, what we disliked, and so episode 37, that's New Old Gang of Mine. We're going back to Alola.
We're going back to Alola. Now, this is very much an episode that works better if you watched previous seasons.
Yes.
And the only thing we've really had before this was, what's her face who came in with the roller skates?
Oh, Karina?
Karina, sorry. I had Serena in my head. I'm like, that's not right.
No.
Karina, yes.
Karina.
So that was the closest we got to that. And that story still kind of stands on its own.
Yes.
Without having watched X and Y. I'm not sure this one does if you haven't watched Sun and Moon.
No, because you've got Kiawe saying I'm Ash's rival, and it's like, okay, if I'd have watched other than a handful of episodes of the Sun and Moon series, I'd take more away from that. Whereas this, I was like, and I saw enough to know what his overall personality was. But if you came into this never seen any Alola, you'd be like, okay, this guy needs to really chill and calm down. Loses a little bit. I'll agree with you there, yeah.
So, like, they bring all the characters in. They don't really reintroduce them. Like,
no,
they don't give you their characters very much. You do get to find out what they're doing. Like, what's his face? The short one.
Sophocles. I can never pronounce his name. Yeah, that one.
Sophocles is working at the Hoenn Space Center, which is really cool. Love that. Yeah. And he's training to be an astronaut. Kiawe's still fighting and training his fire Pokemon. But Lily was the bit in this where I was like, nobody's going to get that if you haven't watched it.
So I haven't watched it. What I know about their family drama comes from the games, but I know that it's different in some regards in the anime. I never watched that, to be honest with you. Like, eventually when we run out of Pokemon Journeys discussions, I would like to go back and maybe do some of the others. Maybe we eventually do the Sun and Moon series, but like that, watching this episode, I was like, okay, that's a nice little thing, but it's completely unrelated to what else is going on in the episode, right? Yeah. Okay, right. It wasn't just me. I was watching, going, wait, have I missed some like connecting plot here? And it's just basically
it was in a different series.
Yeah, it was just completely different, and it was like, I think they just mentioned, oh, where is she? Oh, and then it pans to her and her brother on a train discussing the mum and dad, and I was like, okay.
I didn't finish Sun and Moon.
Okay.
But my knowledge of it was that their dad went missing, and that's why their mum was looking into Ultra Beasts in the first place.
Okay, right.
Went a little bit crazy, not as crazy as she does in the games, but
No.
went a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
They went into Ultra Space, saved her, brought her back. Her and her brother kind of sorted their lives out a little bit. Ash beat her brother in the league, and then he chilled out and decided to be the pompous little boy he always was, instead of this little rebellious so-and-so. And they all kind of came together as a family and decided to go together to go and find their dad. There's something to do with Magirna. I completely missed anything to do with Magirna. I have no idea where that's come from.
Okay.
Even that's lost on me. So I maybe need to go back and watch the end of Sun and Moon again. Because I watched like 2/3 of the series, I think.
You watch more than me. I watched the odd episode when my daughter was watching it, and it was very different than all the other series that came before it, which are Ash goes on his journey and you basically follow the story of the game. Sun and Moon felt very much like episodes of Thunderbirds. Remember Thunderbirds?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just not where I was going to go.
But that's it works, where they're just at a base, and then every now and again they go out and save people and Pokemon, and maybe every now and again Ash does a trial. That was I was like, okay, this is an interesting take on it. I don't think it's for me, but I would like to eventually go back and watch
I definitely prefer the way they've done it with Journeys, which
Agreed.
they've still not done the like, oh, we're going to go step by step along
the
journey along the gym challenge, but have allowed him to just like meander about all the different regions. I think it's much better this way.
Oh, definitely agree. There's not really a load more to say about this, other than I do love the fact that Go defends himself. He's not Ash's rival. He's just a friend and a research colleague, and it's good to see that, Go isn't going to be forced into something that he's not. His story's very different. Go on.
I don't know. It's all right. So he turns around and he says, Ash's goal is Ash's goal. I'm not here to help him with it. I'm like,
well,
screw you, man. Ash will help you with your goal.
Well, he does, because he helps out with the Executor in this episode.
I've been saying it over and over and over again. Ash is helping Go. Go isn't helping Ash, and he just seems like a bad friend.
Yeah, I can understand that perspective here. But again, I think that Ash has had the benefit of plenty of seasons of development. Go will get to where Go is going eventually.
I mean, I get it. I get the sentiment they're going for.
Yeah.
Which is like, everybody's got to make their own way in the world, and my way is not the same way as Ash's way. We're going to make our own destinies, and we're both going to get there like parallel to each other, not bumping heads the whole way. Cool message. Didn't really like the way you said it.
Yeah, you could. There could have been a different way to phrase it. We do get to see a Z move coming in.
Yep.
So makes me think potentially, Ash, when he challenges Leon, he's got Dynamax, Z moves, and potentially Megas in terms of Lucario. Maybe.
I don't know. He's never Mega evolved anything before.
Is he not? I know he had Ash Greninja, but that was its own.
That was its own thing and wasn't a Mega. No, he never ever Mega evolved anything.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
So...
Okay, right. I'm looking forward to seeing where this Lucario thing goes then, because as far as I'm aware, that's that's the only Mon of his team of 6 that will be able to Mega Evolve because
unfortunately.
Gengar. Oh yeah, Gengar can Mega Evolve as well. Yeah, I completely forgot about that. And I do know he has 6 Mons because I play Pokemon Masters, which has already spoilt what I think is 6.
What the squad's going to be.
Yeah, what his squad's going to be. I was like, okay, that's actually interesting. I like that. But we'll save that for a future episode. Kiawe has no chill, then he almost obliterates both Go and Reboot. Until they say bye, Alolan Marowak. I love Alolan Marowak's design.
Which is his Marowak.
Yes,
so he was never going to take it.
No.
He just had to swing a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yes, he was... I think this is a bit of a I don't want to swear on the podcast.
Swinging contest.
Swinging contest is that they were measuring something. That was that episode. It wraps up with Go reiterating his dream once again of catching Mew. And this isn't just a one-off thing where he's on about capturing Mew, which makes me think, is that where his adventure's going? Are they going to wrap up Go's adventure with Ash with a movie, maybe to do with Mew? I don't know. The fact that they keep mentioning this makes me think, okay, it's not just a passing reference. They've got a plan in terms of the Go and Mew dynamic and what happens.
So on that thought, though, do you think that they've introduced a character who can stay with Ash for the long term?
I think so. I think so.
In the fact that his goal is so broad.
Yes.
They've had to effectively broaden Ash's scope and being like, no, even if I'm the best Pokemon trainer in the world and become number 1, that's not a Pokemon master. That's different. It's like, what are you talking about?
You're right. Yeah, I think that, like you say, because Go's objective is to catch all Pokemon and to catch Mew, which is a rare mythical. They can string this out for as many seasons, and the great thing about Pokemon is, every season, every 2 seasons, new Pokemon for him to catch. A Go could potentially be one that sticks around. And I know, there were people saying, "Oh, well, Go is going to replace Ash." I don't think that's going to be the case. I don't think they can replace. They can't replace Ash. It just wouldn't happen because he is so well known, and obviously with Ash is Pikachu. They are there for the long haul. But maybe they do want to go, okay, maybe we want a secondary character so that... Because how far can Ash keep going? And eventually there has to be a case of, okay, right, maybe Ash doesn't step aside, but, rather than Ash being in every episode, he's only in every 9 out of 10 episodes, and we get to follow... And we've kind of seen that this season where there's been an odd handful of episodes where Ash isn't actually in it, or he's got very minimal input and it's more of a Go-centric episode. Maybe that's where we're going with Go, where he'll take on more of a role. Ash will move aside every episode, every now and again, but it's still going to be Ash's show. That's a nightmare to say. And
who knows? He might get pushed aside for Chloe, because we've had Chloe.
Yes, we have
episodes.
Yes, we have.
The next episode.
Yes, so let's move on to episode 38, Restore and Renew. So we're getting fossils and
fossil Pokemon. Fun.
And I know that we're going to Pewter City, but this is where I thought, knowing what I know about Pokemon Masters and his final team, this is where I thought Ash was going to get his 6th and final Mon. But he doesn't, which I'm okay with that. But they basically go to see a large Shieldon. But you can just dig fossils whenever you want. So
yeah, there's a queue round the block to see a giant Shieldon, but there's literally no one queuing up to go and dig fossils. Now, I'd love to do that. I would. So when I was a kid, I wanted to be a paleontologist. That was my absolute dream. I was in love with dinosaurs. I wanted to grow up and be a paleontologist. Unfortunately, I failed biology at A level, and that was kind of it for me. I would love to do this. I would love to go and just sit in a dig site all day.
Yes. Oh, definitely trying to potentially find, new rare fossils or that'd be an amazing memory. Just, I went here, I dug up loads of fossils. So, fossils in the Pokemon games are quite rare, but apparently in the anime, they're not. You can find them apparently Pewter City has had mass extinction event right there at some point in the past because they are just able to basically just give away fossils. Oh, you come in, you dig, you get a fossil. It's like, okay, right.
And not only that, we'll completely revive it for free.
It, yeah. It's just really, really bizarre, like fossil. Maybe that's why nobody's that fussed about seeing the fossils then, because fossils are old news. Everyone's got a fossil. I've got all the fossils.
Why would I see a fossil when I can see the real thing that's being revived?
Yeah. It's like Jurassic World and Jurassic Park. If you go in there, would you, if it was real and you went there, would you rather see a real Tyrannosaurus Rex? Or would you rather go and see the bones of a dead Tyrannosaurus Rex? You'd want to go see the real one, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, so I can kind of understand why maybe the people do want to see the shield. So the writers are making sense. The writers make sense. So Team Rocket are also here. So go on.
Yeah.
What Team
they were
Rocket
like,
doing here?
We can dig up a bunch of fossils for free. Oh no! Wait, they're reviving them. Okay, let's just go steal those. That's much easier.
Yeah, it was really bizarre. Like, I was like, okay, Team Rocket here, and I was like, what? Okay,
doing a hard day's work for the first time in their life.
Yes. Oh yeah, definitely. They're actually trying to work for Pokemon rather than just steal them. Even though they do eventually just let's default it and go back. What I do like is Go uses initiative, and he's bringing, of all Pokemon, he brings the freaking Golurk to hunt for fossils.
Which is good. It's a good sight gag, to be fair, though.
Yeah.
They have the giant bowl. It's like, Golurk, go look in there for fossils. It picks up the tiniest little rock.
Yes.
And squishes it between its fingers.
I love that. Although in like, if you were working there, you'd be like, listen, I know that you want to hunt for fossils, but there's no way we're letting you bring something of that sheer size and destructive ability. Because you've seen how people dig up fossils, right? Where they use the little paintbrush and they slowly chip away at it to make sure they don't damage it. There's no way they're letting a Golurk just hunt for fossils. But it pays off. He finds Old Amber. And so when they found the Old Amber, did you know what Pokemon was going to, be revived?
Of course I did.
Yeah.
In fact, because I had a mate round and I was like, I got to watch Pokemon because I'm doing a podcast tomorrow. And they're like, fine, put Pokemon on. And I was like, oh, Old Amber.
Old Amber.
So what's Old Amber? I was like, it means he's going to get an Aerodactyl.
He gets an Aerodactyl. And while the Aerodactyl's being revived, Team Rocket cause a mess as normal, cause an issue. And Aerodactyl is just sent out into the wild. And what follows is them trying to basically track down the Aerodactyl and go trying to catch it. But while that's happening, I just love this. One of the standouts to me is that Pikachu just running suddenly stops and is like growling at a bush. I was like, what the heck? And then they just pull apart the bush and you've just got Team Rocket and Jessie just responds with, hello. It's just, I was like, this is brilliant.
Hi, you found me.
I just love it.
Well done, you.
It's just absolutely fantastic. I haven't got many notes about the end of this because at the end I was like, I was a bit, I don't know what it was. I was a bit checked out by this episode. The only comment that I've got is, again, Ash's unique style saves the day, using Electro Rep to launch Graveler back at Team Rocket, which
shouldn't have worked.
Yeah, how strong are these Electro? It's an electric type attack on a ground type Pokemon, but also, how strong are these webs?
I don't know. He bounces off them. He traps people up in them. Yeah. I'm not sure what the physics of these webs are. I did think that myself. I'm like,
when did Electro Web become like a main series move for Ash? Because
Gen 7.
Is that when it happened? Because
I think he learned it in Gen 7.
Oh, right. Because it's one of his go-to moves at the moment, and he's been using it to great effect. Which makes me wonder, are we going to see that again later on in another big battle, maybe?
Yeah, very possibly. The one thing I do want to say about this episode, again, I can't tell if this is Go being a bad friend.
Okay.
Or whether he just trusts Ash. Because Ash is in a 2-on-1 fight.
Yeah.
And he's not faring too well. Why he doesn't throw out another Pokemon, I have no idea. It really winds me up.
Yeah.
But Chloe runs up and is like, Go, you need to come. Ash is in trouble. He's in a battle. And Go just looks at her and is like, yeah, so am I.
Yeah. Yeah, good point, actually. Yeah, I don't know why he doesn't... So Go is catching a new Pokemon before helping his friend, right? It's the Aerodactyl.
And again, is he trusting that, no, Ash has this?
Which again, if that's the case, then say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I agree with you there. Yeah, there's too many. Maybe I'm starting to get on board with this. Go is actually a bad friend. There's too many coincidences adding up here. Should we move on to the next episode?
Let's do it.
It's here, the rematch. Episode 39.
I didn't realize we were going to get it so quick.
No, neither did I. I was like, oh, okay, right, we're already here. So Ash is traveling to the Johto region. Goes past the Whirl Islands. I love that little feature. Just a couple of seconds, and you can see the whirls in the ocean. Fantastic. And Ash bumps into B again.
Well, he doesn't bump into her.
Well,
he goes there to get her.
Yes, and B just doesn't remember Ash. The absolute put down. She's like, she remembers the Pokemon, doesn't she? But not Ash.
She remembers him as the Riolu trainer.
Yes, which I was like, oh, okay. And like last time, Ash is very confident. Now, part of me is thinking, okay, he's very confident because he's got a plan. He's figured out what went wrong last time. He's got a plan. But then part of me is thinking, is this the right setting us up for another fail, which could potentially happen, you know? And I think for me, maybe Ash's confidence came because he was like, okay, right, I know the two Pokemon she's used. She's going to use the same two Pokemon, but she doesn't. So Hitmontop's the first Pokemon that comes out, so it's a different lineup, a different battle. Ash is, you know, we get the rematch later on, but this is this is a matchup that we didn't get to see the last time. How is Ash going to fare against the Hitmontop? And
fairly well.
Yeah, it touch and go at parts, I think, but overall it felt like Ash and Pikachu had the battle in the bag. But it was great to see Hitmontop's fighting style, which I've never seen in the anime before, which is basically it's basically a Beyblade at this point. It just spins everywhere trying to kick everything. But again, like I said, Electro Web, go-to move, and, you know, uses it in a really unique way where the Hitmontop just can't, you know, it just shuts down its ability to just move around the battlefield. And then uses a combination of attacks to take it down. So part of me thinks that, you know, Ash started with Pikachu expecting the Hawlucha. Yeah. And having the type advantage. And then obviously was like, oh, okay, right, it's Hitmontop. How do I cope? And part of me thought, oh, I don't think Ash is actually going to fare well here because he's gone in confident, thinking he knows what team B's going to use, and, you know, that might end up, you know, biting him in the bum. But it doesn't. You know, it's not as one-sided as last time, and he manages to win the first fight. I think what we're all here for, though, is the rematch.
With Graplocked.
And the Graplocked is as brutal as ever.
Yep, gets Pikachu in that Octolock and just,
that's it.
Once again, ruined.
Yes, just absolutely destroyed.
Tries to use Iron Tail, can't do it. Tries to use Thunderbolt, can't do it.
No. Pikachu just gets obliterated. But Riolu's raring to go. Absolutely just wants to get in there and fight. And the battle goes very... It plays out differently, even though B doesn't really change her tactics as much. But that gives Ash and the Riolu the advantage, I think, of, okay, this is what we've prepared for.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting because Ash is still doing the, like, stay away, use vacuum wave, keep your distance kind of thing. But you can tell they're more in sync.
Yes.
This time. They're not sort of butting heads and battling against each other's styles. But the Octolock comes in, Graplocked grabs hold of Riolu, and for whatever reason, the Riolu just doesn't
do anything. It's like, okay. And what did you make of that?
I was sat there because, like, I used to do judo and jujitsu and stuff like that. So I'm like, I don't care if you're going with their motion. That sucks. There's no way you're staying calm in that when you're getting choked out.
No, there's not. And I understand that Ash has a plan. And that plan involves, okay, Riolu, if you do get grappled, this is the strategy to overcome that. I don't think that... I just can't see that being a valid tactic of, okay, we're gonna anticipate that our strategy for winning is that we have a high chance of losing the same way as last time.
Like, if it had been... So the way he gets out of it is by force palming.
Which,
He like lets himself get super, super close and then uses force palm to break free.
Yeah.
Why didn't you just use it?
Yeah.
I understand the idea of like, let it bring you as close as possible for maximum damage. Cool.
Yeah.
But again, you're taking a lot of damage in doing that. I don't think it was worthwhile.
No, and the thing is, like, Grappalox is a physical up-close fighting type Pokemon. You'll get chance to use Force Palm just in close quarters combat anyway. You don't need to let it... Yeah, well, yeah. It's just... I really enjoyed the first match between B and Ash. This one, I understand.
Seemed a little bit of Ash plot armor-ish.
Yeah, a little bit, to be honest.
It's like, oh, well, he's learned a new strategy. It's like that strategy wouldn't work.
No, and
this you should have written a better way to get around this Octolock.
Yes, but I will give the writers some credit that it doesn't result in Ash winning.
Mm-hmm.
It's a draw, no ranking change.
Which is a rough for him, because she's like rank 195 when they go into this.
Yes.
So he'd have jumped so far up the rankings from doing that.
Yeah.
It was actually to a point where I was wondering if she'd even accept his battle. And was just going to be like, you're way too low for me. But we do find out that anybody who challenges somebody else has to be within the same class.
Yes.
So when Ash dropped back down into the normal class, he couldn't have rematched B.
I like that. I like that little
And
addition.
it also means when they go up into the Ultra class, they'll only be fighting the top 100. And then top 8 or the Masters can only fight each other.
Yeah. I like that.
It's fascinating.
But one thing that I did like about this episode is it shows a human side to B that we didn't get for the first 15 odd minutes of this episode and the previous episode, where at the end it's just, you know what, they're just relaxing. She knows who he is now. They're all, the Pokemon, even though they were, really going at it in the battle, here we see the Grappalox and Riolu, sharing food and, just having a great time together. I like that.
It's interesting compared to how cold she was at the end of the last episode, where she just left and was like, I'm done with you now.
Yep, I like that.
Yeah, she chills out now. And maybe it's a case of like, you earned my respect, we will fight again.
Yes, because they have the same goal, to battle Leon.
So, which is interesting, because we come right off the back of an episode where it goes like, I'm not Ash's rival. B is effectively the closest thing he has at the moment.
At the moment, yeah, he's lost. He's drew. Surely, I'd imagine they are going to battle again at some point, and it'll be an opportunity to show how far Ash has developed. So I think we'll be seeing her again. Maybe not until closer
next
to
season,
to the finals, maybe. And we also get Chuck as well, which I love Chuck. He's just fantastic. He is exactly how I would expect him to act and talk.
What I love is the fact that they do have all these sweets at the end, and I'm like, come on, man, you're like a big bodybuilder, right? My main source of energy, sweet food.
Yeah, okay, what? No, that's not
I wish I could look as good as you and eat that.
I know, right? Overall, some good episodes, and we are getting closer and closer to the end of this series, which I was shocked actually, because I watched these on Netflix, and just bizarrely it advertised the next season, which isn't. It's got a different name. Is it
Master Journeys?
Yes. So I was like, oh, okay. So because when I thought, we're running close to the end of this, what comes next? Only to find out, there's more.
What my hope is that we'll watch the end of this, then we'll watch all of Master Journeys, and then hopefully by the time we finish that, I forget what the Ultra Journeys, I think is what it's called.
Okay, right.
We'll have finished on Pop TV, and we'll move over onto Netflix for us.
Perfect. And is that like the final season, or don't we know
Yes.
yet? So it is, right? Okay. Oh, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the next few episodes because I know that it starts to follow some of the better parts of the story from Sword and Shield, and I cannot wait. I just can't.
Yeah,
I can't wait. I can't wait.
It's going to be good fun. Look forward to it.
It is. I'm looking forward to it. So, I'll ask myself this question. Ben, are you up for playing a game?
Ben, are you up for playing a game?
Yeah! Perfect. In front of Conor, he has 3 Pokemon with 3 Pokedex entries each, and I have to try and guess the fake entry. Are you ready?
Okay. Let's go. I will
go.
state first and foremost, there is no theme this week. I just did 3 random Pokemon from a random Pokemon generator.
Okay.
Your first Pokemon is Crobat.
Okay.
After evolving, its body has become slender, allowing it to be more agile in the air. It is almost silent as it flies through the night.
Okay.
Second entry. Its fangs are so sharp, if it bites you in the dark and sucks your blood, you won't notice any pain or realize you've been bitten. Third entry.
Mm-hmm.
Both its legs became wings, and as a result, it can't move well on the ground. All it can do is crawl around.
Okay. I'm not going to overthink this. I'm just going to pick a random number. It's between 1 and 3.
Can't just pick a random number.
I'm going to go for 3.
No, 3 was correct.
Oh, is it 1?
It is 1.
Oh, yeah. I let myself get into my own head. Oh, that's annoying. Right. I didn't realize the whole crawling around on the ground thing was a Pokedex entry.
Yeah, no, interesting one, because it's got another one that's like its back legs become wings. It still hangs upside down on them, and then can like flap its wings alternatingly, so it can fly through the night and stuff like that.
All
but
right.
yeah, there was a fun one saying it crawled around on the ground. I was like, that's too funny. I have to put that
has to go in, and it sounds fake as well. Well done, right? Okay.
The next one is Leavanny.
Ooh.
Upon finding a small Pokemon, it weaves clothes for it. It weaves clothes for it from leaves by using the sticky silk secreted from its mouth. That was hard to wrap my tongue around. I apologize. Second one. Silk from this Pokemon is highly valuable. In ancient times, it was used to make the clothing for kings and queens. And the third one. It keeps its eggs warm with heat from fermenting leaves. It also uses leaves to make warm wrappings for swaddle.
Okay, I'm just gonna guess number 2.
It was number 2.
Yes. I don't know what gave it away. I was like, okay, that I don't know. Just like, okay.
So interestingly about Leavanny, it only has 2 Pokedex entries. It's been in there since Generation 5, but it just keeps repeating the same 2 Pokedex entries for some reason.
That's bizarre. Like, to be fair, I have noticed when I've done a couple of these where, you know, you read the Pokemon entries for Sword and Shield, for example, and it's like, well, this is the same that was in Ruby and Sapphire. And they do, but I've not come across any from that earlier gen that only have 2. The ones that I have come across that only have two are typically Pokemon that have been introduced from typically Gen 7 onwards. So I'm a bit surprised that a Mon from Gen 5 only has 2 Pokedex entries.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised at it.
Okay.
So, your last and final Pokemon. Any guesses?
So we're going for Leavanny. We went for Crobat. I'm going to go for Porygon.
Abomasnow.
Abomasnow, okay.
So the first one. It whips up blizzards in mountains that are always buried in snow. It is the Abominable Snowman. Second one. It blankets wide areas in snow by whipping up blizzards. It is also known as the Ice Monster. And the third one. It hides in blizzards it whips up atop snow-covered mountains. Locals refer to it as the Yeti.
Wow, okay. That is I might as well just pick a random number, because the fact that any of them are legit boggles my mind. Absolutely, just what? So I have a 33% chance. So the last one was number 2. The first one was number 1. Would you go for number 3 on this? I wouldn't, because I'd be like, oh no. I'll go for number 2.
It was number 3.
Oh, no! Oh, wow.
So according to its
God.
Pokedex entries, it is officially referred to as the Ice Monster, and it is the Abominable Snowman.
It is. There you go. Confirmed. Wow. Okay. Okay. Well done on those, especially that last set. Proper just threw me. I had no idea which one it was. Absolutely. Wow. So I know you said why you picked. I was going to say, did you pick them because they are really unique Pokedex entries? But no, you just.
I mean, no. I picked the Pokemon at random. Those Pokedex entries. You know, when you find 2 that are basically the same. But reword a couple of things, I'm like, I could do that.
That'll do. Right. Well done. I got 1 out of 3, which means next week I'll be challenging you again.
Whoop.
Whoop, whoop.
So that's it. So if I get 0, I have to challenge you.
Yes.
But if
Let's
you
do
get
that.
anything less than 3, you have to come back to challenge me.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Okay. Done.
There we go. Perfect. Let's move on to questions and comments. I'm just going to read. I know you've got one, but I'm going to get in there first and read out the one I've got. Again from Taylor. In the upcoming game, Scarlet Violet, and assuming that the 3 paths are what we assume, racing, gyms, and treasure hunt. So not quite. It isn't racing. Which path will you focus on the most?
Oh, I think I already answered this question earlier on. I am most excited for the Titan path.
Yeah.
I think that's where all my lore is going to be. I'm really looking forward to it. But in all honesty, judging by the way this map looks like it's laid out, I probably won't. That'll be the one I'll go for, and then we'll use the others as like grinding spots on the way.
Yeah, So originally, when we were thinking that they were going to be racing and treasure hunting, I was confident. Okay, the one that I'll do them all, but the one I'm going to like the most is the gym challenge. The gym challenge is probably the one I'm least excited for now. I mean, I am excited for it, but I'm going to try, I want to mix up Pokemon and being able to go in and try the other paths. I think for me, actually the one I'm most excited for is the Star Path, which was the one when I looked at the trailer, I was like, okay, that's probably the one I'm least excited for. But the more we've spoken about it, the more I'm thinking, actually, I really like how this one could play out because it seems so unique.
Different. It does. It seems the most inventive.
Yes, exactly. So that's the one I'm going to go for. But to be quite honest with you, all I'm going to do is one of the map. And when I see one of them, I'm going to go for it. And, it might be that I'm wandering the map and I see a town for a gym, or I see one of the other 2, the 2 things that you can do, and I go for them. So I'm going to play them all, but that's the one I'm most excited for.
Nice. I think that covers the question quite nicely.
Nice. Have you got any questions?
We do. We have a question from Roxanne. Okay. Are there too many Pokemon types? Should they have stopped adding them sooner?
So, as someone that has played the Pokemon TCG, where they do combine, so you have Water and Ice are a single typing, Grass and Bug are a single typing, Rock, Fighting, and Ground are also a single typing. I'm going to say, my opinion, no. I think they've done quite well to limit it and not every generation go, let's add more typings. Let's just keep adding more. We had the initial set in Gen 1, then we got 2 extras in Gen 2, and then we got the fairy typing in Gen 6. Feels like we've now got a really nice balance. I can't see them adding any more. That's not to say that they won't. I just feel like now we've now that they've had the time and being able to play out with these different Pokemon and whatnot, I think we've got a nice set of typings. However, I do want to see more unique typings. I want to move away from, every generation you get the same normal, on the first route, you get a normal type, you get, your flying type. I want to move away from that, and I want to go, okay, so what differentiates this is the first route actually hasn't got normal type Pokemon. It's got a rock type. Oh, it's got a poison type. Like, mix it up so you get to bring new Pokemon in and give attention to the typings that maybe haven't had as much attention in the past.
Yeah, good answer. I'm going to go for this in reverse. So first off, should they have stopped adding types sooner? No, because every type they've added has been a necessity. It has been a balancing act.
Yep.
You know, the first ones they did was Dark and Steel. Both of them were brought in solely to counter Psychic, which really, really needed it at the time. And then when they brought Fairy in, it was needed because we needed to counter Dragon.
Yeah.
Perfect. Maybe it's a little bit too powerful. Fairy has cemented itself as possibly one of the greatest types in the entire game. That's a little bit rough because it's strong against Dragon and fighting. It is resisted by fire, which
is weird.
Gives it a little bit of wiggle room, but no, it's fair. They have been brought in and they were very needed when they got brought in.
Agreed.
However, I do think there are too many types.
Okay.
I think there have been too many types forever. I don't need bug type Pokemon. I think it's an awful typing and I don't need it.
Doesn't add much.
I don't need ice type Pokemon. It's not a great typing and they could all just be water quite easily.
Yeah.
I don't need ground type Pokemon. They could all just be rock.
Yeah.
Now, there will be people screaming, but what about this Pokemon? Yeah, that I get it, but maybe they would have had a different design if we never had those.
Yeah.
I just don't think, at least those three are the ones that off the top of my head that I can go, we could probably do without those.
Yeah, I think as they've got, as the generations have advanced, they've managed to differentiate a load of the typings. But Generation 1 and 2 were an absolute mess because so many of the grass type were also poison type. So many
and all of the rock were ground type as well.
Yeah, if they, I personally think if we were going back to Generation 1, then your point does have validity of let's merge some of them. But to be fair, they didn't realize they were going to introduce an extra 3 later on in the series. The thing that knocks me, I think, the most is the fact that we didn't get Fairy type until Gen 6. Don't get me wrong, it's needed, but then it's just one of those little things where it's like, well, you know, my fighting type Pokemon was super effective against the Clefairy a couple of generations ago, whereas now it's not. And, you know, with so many of, you know, normal type and fairy type Pokemon being linked or, you know, normal type become fairy type, personally, I would have had fighting super effective against fairy because then it doesn't matter that Clefairy used to be a normal type because fighting is still super effective. That's a little thing that just irks me a little bit, but whatever. I understand that there is no way to introduce fairy and just make it as smooth as possible retroactively for past games. It was just, you know what, let's throw in fairy type. These Pokemon are now fairy. Just roll with it. That's how we're doing it. I do love fairy types. I can't see them adding new types. I think this is probably it.
I don't think there's a need for it. I know there's been some fans screaming for like a sound type.
Yes, I've seen that, but I just don't.
But that's just normal, right?
Yeah,
that's just a normal type.
That's what I'd say because then there becomes the confusion of, okay, so we introduce sound types and certain Pokemon, you know, Loudred line are probably a good example of that. But what about all the moves that are sound based? I think that just overcomplicates it even further. We've got the 18 typings, I think, off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong, some of them, like you've identified, like bug type, whatever. I've never really used bug typing, mainly because typically, you know, they're great early game, but they rapidly lose their. Other than a handful of Pokemon in that category, they soon lose. They just lose pace compared to the other mons. But I think we've got these typings. Let's stick with that and instead focus on unique
combinations and uses for them.
That's what I want. I want to see us go from, okay, you know, because we do have certain Pokemon typings that haven't been combined yet. That's what I want to see. And I want to see new moves that, you know, I mean, we go, okay, bug Pokemon overlooked. Let's give some, you know, really good bug moves early on in the games, rather than just
even not early on. We got First Impression, which massively buffed bug Pokemon. We saw a Golisopod at Worlds this year that did really, really well because it had First Impression.
Yeah.
It's a really good bug type move. So it is easy enough to buff certain typings and make them more relevant.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, that we'll go around in circles in this for
We will,
hours and hours and hours.
Yep. Okay. If you've got a comment or question, you can reach us by leaving a comment on our podcast on YouTube or by emailing goldenrodpod@gmail.com. This is the part where we talk about blogs, but I've got a feeling I know what yours is going to be about.
What? What do you mean?
Well, I think it's two things. One is that your Pokemon Worlds vlog
It's out.
is out. You should go and watch it if you've not already. And I'm guessing you're going to be doing something about this trailer?
Eventually. We're
Okay.
still working on the video about Grafai.
Oh, right. Okay. When are you hoping to get that out?
Sometime in the next couple of days.
Woo!
Well, when am I hoping to get it out? Before they release another trailer.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Your work's cut out for you. I think they're going to start coming thick and fast now. All new information,
So,
news. And...
I've already started the research for the next video based on this trailer. I've got a really good one coming up. Like I fell into a proper research hole.
Yeah.
Not to give too much away, but when you're researching Pokemon and end up looking up the Byzantine Empire, Silk Road.
What?
And
Right?
Yeah, mate. Oh, it was so good.
Okay,
I can't
okay.
wait for this one to come out.
Nice. I'm looking forward to it. I love your theory videos. I'm so glad that you've moved your channel into that direction. Don't get me wrong. I love your, what you do with the kingdom and, I love the wedlock that we did, but your theory videos, they need more views and you need more subscribers, but I'm confident you will get there because the quality and the research that you put into them is absolutely fantastic. So if you are listening to this, head on over to YouTube, go over to Captain Fidget's channel and watch some of the theory videos. You will not be disappointed.
Oh, you are a sweetie.
I'm only saying that because I haven't really got much of a plug, to be quite honest.
Oh no,
I'm
you got
trying to
nothing going on
catch
at
up
the moment.
things. No, not really. I've got my series with British Eagle, so the 3v3 Cage Lock series. That's going. Episode 1 went live today as of hearing this, as of listening to this. Unless you're listening to this years in advance, in which case, go back and watch them all. The entire series is on YouTube. Enjoy. Leave a like while you're there. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with my content at the moment. And that is the show for this week. If you've gone this far, you're just a top dollar on you. We need some top dollar merch. Conor, where can we find you?
You can find me on my YouTube channel at Captain Fidget or on Twitter at CapFidget.
Perfect. And I'm Ben, and you can find me as Professor Hoenn on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. As for the
Can we find you as Professor Hoenn on Twitch, on YouTube? Aren't you Professor Hoenn Gaming?
Well, yeah, I know, but see, yeah. It's one.
Well, that's a different channel that's non-existent anymore.
I know. It's infuriating, though, because you know what it's like when you go, oh, I've got this cool name, I'll go to this new social media channel or whatever to get it. It's like, someone's already got this. I'm like, oh, you're serious? And I wanted to be Professor Hoenn Gaming because then people know, oh, that's a YouTube channel. That's someone that produces content.
Well, it's just, you tell people every week to go to the wrong place.
Yeah, right,
I mean, you also own that place, but...
Right, okay, you tell you what, I'm right now, Professor Hoenn Gaming. Don't cut this out. Leave this in on YouTube. And Professor... Anyway, as for the Goldenrod Podcast, you can find us on the usual platforms. Search for Goldenrod Podcast on YouTube or on your usual podcast app. Leave a like on YouTube or a 5-star review if you're listening as a podcast. And I'll tell you what, if people leave some funny 5-star reviews, we'll read them out on the podcast, yeah?
Brilliant. That sounds like a damn fine idea.
Perfect. We'll be back next Friday for another week of Pokemon podcast content.
See ya.